Hi everybody, welcome to Scotch kitchen. Okay, today is we've managed making one on a Tuesday, which is really great. So we're going to do a very quick dinner. We're going to have some pasta, which I've already put here, as you can see. So we have some pasta. We have some water already boiling up in the hob, so that's good. Then we have our mixed vegetables here, as you can see. There you go, that's our mixed vegetable. So we're gonna just like boil, or you can steam that if you wish. Then we have some butter. This butter, we're going to use some of it in our vegetable and just a little bit on our pasta. Then I have a courgette here. I just cut off some bits of the courgette that was bad, so you need one courgette. And then you need some cherry tomatoes. Just move that there. So you need some cherry tomatoes. I have like a different kind of cherry tomatoes. And then I have 6 real large or medium mushrooms. And then I have 1 onion. Then today I'm going to use this different type of cheese. This is just a single cheese. It's normally a sandwich cheese, but that's the cheese I'm going to use for my my pasta. Didn't have enough time to go and buy the grated cheese. Not to worry, we can always improvise, and today we're going to use our single cheese to actually make our pasta. Okay, that said, my chicken is still defrosting because I didn't get enough time to actually remove that prior, because I thought I'm going to be late today. So it's good I'm here. That's why I've just decided to go ahead and just make dinner by doing the video. So I'm going to move you a little bit closer so that you can be able to see me adding in the pasta onto the hot water. The water is already boiling up there, as you can see. So I am going to go ahead and add in our pasta. Okay, so we'll just bring a cooking stick. We have our pasta in water that's already cooking, so I'll just cover that slightly, and I am going to move that on one side because I will need this. I'm just putting down the heat just slightly, and then I'm going to move our pasta at the end. And I'm gonna turn it off because I still don't need it now. Then I'm going to move our vegetable on the side. I'll just move you back again so that you can be able to see. So I'm going to leave the vegetables as well. I'm not going to do them immediately because they don't take really long to actually steam up. And then as well, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my oven, because my pasta is going to go in my oven. So I'm going to turn that on for that to actually start warming up. So I've just turned on that so they can start warming up, and then we're going to go ahead and put the pasta. So when you're waiting for all that to actually get ready, I am going to start preparing our vegetables, because these are the vegetables that are going to go in our chicken. Our chicken, I said, is defrosting. So let's prepare the vegetable while we wait for our chicken. I'm actually using chicken breast today. So I'm going to move my vegetable on one side, and then I'll start preparing it. So I'm going to start with our onions, and then I'll go with our tomatoes. Oh, and also have some cloves of garlic. Cloves of garlic here, I have about 7 of them. So I'm going to use that on our chicken as well. So I'm going to start with our onions, and I'm just going to half this one. I'm going to half it and cut it in slices. I'm going to cut it along, so I want like half very slim slice. I'm not going to dice it. That's what I'm going to do with our onion. Those are the sizes I want. If you're able to defrost your chicken breast earlier, it's a good idea if you do that prior to cooking, because you're going to see my breast of chicken by the time I'm going to remove it after defrosting. Some of it is going to look as if it's cooked, but that's okay because we'll have it in small pieces as well, so that's fine. Okay, so our onions are done, and I am going to put my onions straight in the pan just to take some space out. So those are my onions. I'm just going to put them in the pan just to store it for now. I'm not going to start cooking anything yet. Okay, then we will go ahead and do our courgettes. And the courgettes, I'm going to half it, and I want it in slices, small slices as well. So it's just an additional vegetable onto our chicken, because we already have anyway vegetable already. So this is going to help some flavor on the chicken. Okay, gonna cut this one as well. So we have it's a whole courgette. That's what you need for this meal. Okay, so those are the slices we want, and then I have my other small portion here. Okay, and then this last one. Then we have our tomatoes. I'm going to cut some of it, not all of it, just some. Or I'm actually going, if I manage, I'm going to cut all of them, because some of them are really ripe, so I don't want them to spark the way that one is already on my board, which is okay. Okay, I'm going to leave that. Some of them are okay, but some of them are really soft, so I'm going to leave the soft one, because they can actually open up when I'm actually cooking them. Okay, I'll just do this, and then I'll go and bring in our chicken so that we can prepare our chicken as well. Okay, so I'm going to move the tomatoes on one side as well, and then that's the garlic. So I'm going to chop these ones in small slices. Not really too small slices, but just slice. I'm going to chop it like I'll dice it in as much as, I'm going to go small sizes as much as I can. So you can crush it if you want to. No, I don't want today. Okay. Okay, that should be it. Then I am going to add this onto my pot, because these should go straight with the onions. Okay, then I am going to get my chicken before I do the mushrooms. If you can defrost your chicken prior, that will be really great. Because this is what I normally do with my chicken. I buy them in loads of like slices, and then I pack them and freeze them. So like these ones, because I buy them, slice them, and then I freeze them after washing them, so I don't really have to re-wash it again. So I have about, how many breasts of chicken? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 breasts of chicken. So I'm gonna put that aside. So we have our 5 breasts of chicken. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to slice them in pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and cook them. So we only have our mushroom to cut, and then we start preparing the chicken breast. So I am going to do this. I'm going to move my tomatoes and my courgettes on this other mat, so that I can be able to cut the chicken, because we need it cut in slices. and then we can start actually cooking it. So I'll move my tomatoes closer there, and then I'm gonna move my courgettes. So I don't need that knife, I'm gonna get a different knife. Okay, so you want your chicken in strips. So these are the strips that I'm going to go for. Just need to cut them in strips, and then I'm going to again cut them. So these are like the strips, but I'm going to again cut that strip into another, like sort of another shape of strip. So you have the whole one. You can divide that into two so that you have like that size, and that's what I want. And I'm gonna do that in all of them. Yeah, as you can see, some of my chicken is actually almost cooked, or I can say even cooked. That's the disadvantage, or I can say if you defrost it, if you can be able to remove it much earlier, that is going to be great. If you defrost it the way I've defrosted it, it doesn't make any difference at all. You can go ahead and do it. The only thing is, like when you're cutting it, you really have to achieve your strip at the first cut. You can't go over it, because if you go over it again, that's what happens. It goes into complete mayhem. It goes in small pieces that you don't really want. Okay, so let's do this one. So I'm not going over those ones because, as you can see, some bits of my chicken are actually a bit done. So I want to keep them as whole as possible. So the bits that are done, I'm not bothering to go over them. Unlike the other bits, I'm actually cutting, I'm recutting them into slices. So we have like loads of different, we have slices, that's the slices we have, which is great. That's what we want to achieve. And then we're going to go to our last one. Oops. We'll pick that in a second and wash it. Okay, so we have our, which is great. So I am going to move them on one side. Then I want to do our mushrooms. I'm going to do my mushrooms exactly the same place. And the main reason why I'm doing this is everything is going into the same pot, so it doesn't really matter. If you want to use a fresh board, yes, you can go ahead and use a fresh board, but it doesn't really matter because the mushrooms as well are going in the same meal, so it's okay. But if you are making a vegetarian's meal, you can't mix this together. You have to do it separately. Okay, so we are almost done, and we'll be ready in a few minutes to start actually cooking it. Okay, 2 more left, and then we have the last one. Okay, so the moment I'm going to start now, just going to make sure our pasta is actually cooking. Our pasta is cooking there, so that's really, really great. Okay, so I'm going to move you closer so that you're able to see our cooking, because we just need to start actually start cooking the chicken. Doesn't take long, but we still need to start cooking it, and then we're going to put in our mixed vegetable to also start cooking. Oh, I'm having some tea, by the way. Okay, that's much better. That's closer. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my hob. And I'm going to let that become really, really hot. And today I am going to use our favorite rapeseed oil. There you go. That's what we're going to use. I'm going to just let that cook for a few minutes. Just make sure the pot is a bit warm, and then that is when I'm going to go and add some oil. So let's have that cook for a few minutes, and then we get on with it. My pasta is almost ready. I am going to drain the pasta off in a few minutes, and then we're going to put it in a baking dish. Then I'm going to put a bit of spices. The spice I'm going to use for the pasta is our mixed spices, and I'm going to put some cheese on. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So today this is the type of cheese you're using. I'm sure sometimes you like to use cheese and then you realize, oops, sorry, you realize I don't have any cheese. You shouldn't really worry yourself. I'm using a single cheese, and this is normally the strip of cheese that they use on how do you call it, on sandwiches. So that's the strip of cheese that I'm going to use. So it's still cheese, so it's still going, normally still does exactly what I want it to do. So as you can see, it's just normal cheese, and that is what I'm going to use today for our pasta. So I'm going to show you as well. You'll be able to use any type of cheese when you are making your pasta. Okay, that's about three or four tablespoons that I've just put in there. So we have our rapeseed oil. You can have any oil you wish to. So it's oil, onions and garlic, and you just need to let that cook for a few minutes, and then we'll go on and add what we need there. Okay, I'm going to bring my cooking stick and just mix that up. Okay, so today my spices that I'm going to use for our chicken is, I'm going to use some black pepper. Then I am going to use some spicy paprika. Then I am going to use our pesto. So we have some pesto left. So I'm going to use about 2 or 3 spoons of that. And then we have our tinned tomato. So that's just like a quarter leftover. So today is like lots of uses of the leftover, which you should be able to learn how to use it instead of you throwing it away. You can always reuse, keep the leftovers like in tins and stuff, and just use them when you're ready. Okay. Just checking on our pasta. That's bubbling up okay, which is great. Okay, so our onions, garlic, they're actually cooking, but I want them to become a little bit darker, not too dark, just a little bit dark. And then that's when I'm going to start adding the rest of the stuff that I need on here. Meanwhile, I'll get my pot. I'm just going to get my pot of and add the vegetable in. Okay, so there is our pot of vegetable. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to go in there, and I'm not gonna turn the hob on for the vegetable yet. Because I'm going to sort of just like steam my vegetables, so I'm just going to let them there to just sit there for a while before until actually I put in my pasta, and then my chicken is almost ready, and that's when I'm going to go straight ahead and turn on the hob for the vegetables, because I want everything to get ready at the same time. Okay, I'll move this closer for you to be able to see. So if you look at the onions, they started having like a golden color. Even the garlic are having sort of like a golden color, and that's what we want. So if you just keep on just letting it actually cook, then we're going to go on and add the cherry tomatoes first. Okay, let's just leave that one to cook for a few more minutes. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of salt on our pasta because I didn't add any salt on our pasta when I initially put the water there. You can put some salt on the water before you start cooking, so you wouldn't have to re-add any more salt when you're actually either serving the dish or when you're about to put it in the oven. You don't really need to add any more salt. Okay, so let me just add a bit of salt. You don't have to add any salt because some people, they just like their pasta without any salt, or they like their dishes without any salt. So you can go ahead, if you don't like any salt, don't put any salt at all. Okay, just gonna add a little bit more, and that's enough to taste. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that for another few minutes. So our onions are actually just right. There you go. As you can see, we've achieved the golden color. Like, they look almost sort of like burnt, but they're not really burnt because we want them to be that golden color. So you can see some strips that are golden color. That's what we want. So that's enough. So I'm going to go ahead and add the cherry tomatoes now. So far we only have garlic, onions, oil, and cherry tomatoes, and that's all we have here. So I'm going to let this, I'll just show it to you before I just let it. I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes as well, because I want my tomatoes to actually burst out, especially the ones that I didn't slice off, because they were really juicy already. I'm going to let that burst out a little bit, and then I'm going to add our tin tomato, the quarter tin tomato that was left. I'm going to add that immediately after that. Okay, let's check on our pasta when we're waiting for the tomato to actually get ready. So, with the pasta, I'm just going to pick a few and just poke them in. As you can see, it is definitely started to get, it is ready to go to the oven. So if I go it through and through for you to be able to see, as you can see, it's definitely ready to go to the oven. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just drain the water from the pasta. I'm going to drain the water from the pasta. I'm going to move you back a little, and then you can see me adding the spice, the mixed spice, a little bit of paprika, and the cheese. So I'm going to slice the cheese as we go and add those ones onto our pasta. Then our pasta is going to be ready to go in the oven while we wait for these actually cook. So this is how the process is going to go. I'm gonna add our tin tomato here. Give it a quick mix. And I will let that cook. I'll push you back for a few minutes. Just a little bit. There, that's good. Turn off that, and then drain the water off the pasta. Okay, there is our dish. our oven dish, which I'm going to put on the side for a second. The main reason why I'm covering that so that we can go ahead and start doing the pasta fast, and then we can go back and finish off our chicken. So here we have our pasta. Make sure it is still inside the pot that you originally boiled it in. So we have our pasta there. I'm smoking hot today. So if you have your pasta, you need to go ahead and add a bit of your mixed spices. There you go. So I'm going to sprinkle a bit of that. So you need about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of mixed spice. Then I am going to go ahead and add a bit of the spicy paprika. So that's the paprika. I'm going to sprinkle some of that as well. And then this is when the butter comes in before the cheese. So I need a tablespoon so that I can go ahead and add our butter on. So I'm going to go really generous. That's the first one. And I'm going to go on the second one. Cover that away. Not using that anymore. I'm done with that. And I'm going to mix this up. So I'm mixing the spices with the butter because I need the butter to melt away. So that's why you need to do this immediately you drain water off your pasta. Okay, so we want, because we're just trying to make the pasta as creamy as possible. Keep on mixing until you don't see any butter completely. Just make sure the butter is completely melted. And we are doing this on the same pot that we just boiled the pasta in. It's actually the pasta smoking. It's not me. I don't think I'm that hot yet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my cheese, and what I'm going to do with my cheese is just a whole cheese. I'm going to strip it in slices, and I am dipping it in, and I'm going to do a few of that. You can go as much, you can use as much cheese strips, single cheese strips you want. So I'm going to do this for a few of them because the boys really love cheese, so I'm going to go a bit wild on this. So if you don't want to use that, because this is just single cheese, I'll show you the package. It's single cheese. You can either go and use your single cheese, or you can just get some grated cheese. But as you normally use grated cheese all the time, once in a while you can try use some different kind of cheese. That's why I'm using this, even though I should have used grated cheese. But I'm just showing you that it doesn't matter what kind of cheese you have, you can still make your pasta really cheesy with any type of cheese you have in the house. So because the pasta is still really hot, the cheese is just melting away, and also the butter is actually helping a lot in that as well. I hope you're able to see the consistency of the pasta and the cheese is starting to get really sticky. Okay, it's actually melted. I am going to go ahead and add about 2 more because I want it really cheesy. The cheese that they use for the sandwiches, it's always really mild cheese, and the taste is always slightly different from the other. So I'll show you now. Let me just pick up my last strip, and that's the type of cheese I'm using. It's just the same cheese they use for to make the sandwiches. So if you're having cheese on your sandwich, and that's the cheese I'm using. So gonna strip that off. So I used my last two and that's it. Gonna give it a proper mix again. And then this is going to go in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes and we'll be done. Because by the time 10 to 15 minutes, the chicken is going to be ready, the vegetable is going to be ready as well. We'll be ready to serve. Okay, so I think that's okay. So as you can see, it's really mixed, really cheesy, just the way we love it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pour it straight into our baking tray, as you can see. Just move that. There you go. I've just moved everything onto our baking tray. I'll just move that slightly back. There you go. I hope you're able to see that. And I am just going to spread it. And I still have a little bit left on the pot. And this is what I'm going to do. Spot on. Okay. So that's how our cheese looks like. I am not going to add any more cheese on top. You know, normally you sprinkle a little bit of cheese at the top of your pasta when you're about to put it in the oven. But because I've used enough cheese on it already, I am not going to add any more cheese on top. I am just going to put it directly the way it is in the oven. And you want to put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. That's exactly about 200 degrees or 180. There we go. I've left it at 200 degrees. So that's going to be enough time. So 10 to 15 minutes until our chicken is ready. So we've done our pasta. That's put away, ready. It's cooking in the oven. So that's great. So let's move closer and let's finish cooking our chicken. So I'll just show you what we've achieved so far. Remember our onions and tomatoes and garlic before I mix it. This is what you want to achieve. So it's almost like a paste. And that's why I was leaving it to cook for a few minutes, because I wanted the paste. And just keep on crushing off the tomatoes completely, the cherry tomatoes, so you can have a bit of some consistency all over. Then I am going to go with my courgettes. After mixing my courgettes inside here, I am going to go with the chicken. I'm going to put the chicken in immediately after that. Okay, my courgettes are in. Just give them a mix. We're going to have our mushrooms last after the chicken, because we want our mushrooms really nice and crispy. That's why we're going to have them last. Okay, remember we've not had any spices yet. We're going to go ahead and put the spices after we put our chicken. So this is what you have so far. So you have your tomato, you have your courgettes. So tomato, courgettes, onions and garlic. That's what's cooking. Then I am going to go ahead and start adding my chicken in here. So we have our chicken strips. Gonna put them around. Just gonna move that. So I'll put our chicken and make sure you spread it as much as possible onto the pot you're using. If you're using a smaller pot, it's even much easier. So I'm going to leave that, wash my hands for a second. And then I am going to go ahead and sprinkle some paprika, again the spicy paprika, on the chicken. Remember, I've not mixed anything, so I'm going to sprinkle my paprika on the chicken. Then I'm going to sprinkle some grounded black pepper. So with the smoked paprika you need about let's say 2 to 3 teaspoons, the ones I've just sprinkled there. Then I am going to take my pesto and I'm going to add it on the sides and right in the middle. So this is what I'm going to do with my pesto. I know it looks really weird. I'm sure you're wondering why is she doing that. I'm going to move it closer first before I explain. And that's how it is. As you can see my 5 blobs of pesto, which is one is here, another one is here, another one is here, another one is here, and the last one is there. And then I've just sprinkled my paprika on it. Then I am not mixing it yet. I am going to get my cover and cover that, and I want the spices to be steamed up before I mix everything together. So I want the chicken, the top of the chicken, to actually be steamed up with the steam from the spices, so it's going to be really infused in the chicken. Then I'm going to mix it up, and that's when I'm going to add my mushroom after mixing it up, and then I'm going to cover it some more and just let it cook again for a few minutes. Then after that we're going to start doing our vegetable, and actually that's going to be it, because we will have made our dinner. So we'll start again doing the preparation of making sure that I put down everything for you to be able to see. So I'm covering it for about 2 to 3 minutes. Just leave it covered for a few more minutes. Just make sure that you've turned the heat down a little bit, not too low, but just medium high. So now let's do the mixing. Let's mix everything together. If you can't get pesto, you can either use, you can blend together some garlic, some tomatoes. You can use any spice you have, so you can blend that together with the tomatoes, and that can be your paste without adding any water whatsoever. So you will be able to achieve a very thick paste. And that is almost exactly like the pesto that I've just used at the moment. So let's add our mushrooms. Oops, sorry. Before I add my mushrooms, I'm going to show you how it is now. There you go. So as you can see now, the chicken is already infused in the vegetable. I'm just moving some of the mushrooms that fell on the hob when I was moving the pan. Okay, there goes our mushrooms. Sprinkle them all over. And then just let that cook. So we're going to go ahead and cover it again. And we're just going to let that cook, and we're going to keep on turning it, let it cook and keep on turning it as the time goes. So at the same time, because we're definitely done with our chicken, we will go ahead and start cooking our vegetables. So I'll turn on the hob for the vegetable, for that to start cooking. And then meanwhile, you will have enough time to do a bit of cleaning. I'll just move you back a little bit. There you go, so that we can actually start preparing our surface as well. Well, everything else actually cooks. So we'll prepare our surface, and then if everything is not cooked yet, we'll have a bit of a chat. So we can have a little bit of a chat while preparing everything. I'm still going to use a little bit of, actually I'm going to use my chili oil instead of using butter onto our vegetable, because we've already had some cheese on our vegetable and on our pasta, and some butter on our pasta. So you can use olive oil, or you can use walnut oil or sesame seed oil. You can use any type of oil on your vegetable, just exactly the way you normally do on your salads. You can do that on your vegetables, or if you wish to, you can just steam or boil your vegetable and then just have it like that without nothing completely. That is still very, very healthy. Okay, so I'm just moving everything out of the way. Okay, so we didn't do too much mess today, which is great. So there is our surface, nice and clean. Not too much mess at all, because we've used, most of the time we've used the hob today. So that's great. Okay, our pasta is also getting ready in there. So we've done our chicken. Our chicken is cooking. Our vegetables are also steaming in a few minutes, which I'm going to go ahead and just cover the pot. And then let's prepare this surface. So let's prepare the surface and wait for our food to get ready. And then we will be ready to serve. As it is a weekday, we need to try and, because this kind of meal, you should be able to do it really, really quick. Especially like if you have kids, so you should be able to do it quick and then get on with the normal weekly routine stuff. Bless me. You should be able to go ahead and have your normal weekly routine stuff, like homeworks and things like that. Excuse me. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so that is done. So I've prepared that. So we have our dish for our vegetables, and then we have, I'm not going to transfer the pasta because the pasta has the oven oven dish, and that's our dish for our chicken. And talking about our chicken, I am going to give it a bit of a mix. Before I do that, I'll bring it closer to you. And that's how it looks like so far. Woo. That's how it looks like, because we've not mixed the mushrooms. That's why you're seeing the mushrooms at the top. So I'm going to mix up the mushrooms now. Because remember, we don't want our mushrooms to actually cook for a very long time. That's why we left our mushrooms on top, for them to really steam up fast before they actually start cooking. So by the time the chicken is actually, because chicken doesn't take really long to actually get ready. So by the time the chicken is ready, the mushrooms are still going to be really, really nice and crunchy. Okay, I'm going to taste that to make sure I had put a little bit of salt. Okay, there's no salt, so I'm going to add some salt. I I know you're wondering how much salt I'm putting, but I'm using a salt shaker. So I'm actually regulating the amount of salt I'm using. But if you're using a spoon or something, just be very careful how much salt you put. Because it's just good to put a little bit of salt just to make sure the food actually has some taste, because I believe salt gives foods a bit of taste, but there are some people who don't have salt completely and they are still fine. That's perfect. I'll just move it closer to you for you to be able to see. Now that we've mixed our mushroom in there, there you go. So that's our chicken. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to leave that to cook for a few more minutes while we wait for our vegetable to get ready. Just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so I brought in a plate. So that's the plate that we're going to serve our dinner today. And we need some cutlery. Cutlery sorted, and we need our serviettes. Always serviettes there. So our stuff is sorted out, ready to go. Let's put a little bit of music at the background when we are waiting for the last thing, which is our vegetable to actually get ready. Okay, our pasta is about to actually get ready. We just need about 2 or 3 minutes and it's going to be ready to serve. Now the main thing we're waiting for is our vegetable. We're just waiting for that to actually heat up a little, and then we can go ahead and start serving the dishes. I need to just change the mat for this because I won't be able to put our pasta here because that can burn. So bear with me. Okay, so we brought something to be able to put our pasta on top, because that's plastic, that's wood, so that's great. So that will be able to handle the pasta. The chicken should be ready now, because you don't want to leave your chicken to cook for a very long time, because if you let it cook for a very long time, you will have like your chicken in actually like portions instead of whole pieces of chicken, because I say the chicken cooks really quick, and because it cooks really quick, you don't want to let it cook for overcook, because if it's overcooked, the strips are actually going to crush and you're going to have mushy, almost sort of like mushy peas. So you're going to have mushy chicken, and that's what we don't want. Mushy chicken, we want pieces of chicken. So our chicken is definitely ready. As I'll come closer for me to be able to show you what I made. So that's our chicken, as you can see, and we have our strips. As you can see, our strip is still as whole as the way we had sliced it. But if you cook it for a very long time, you're not gonna have these whole strips. As you can see, we still have whole strips, and that's what you want to achieve. Just make sure you don't overcook it, because if you overcook it, you're not going to achieve the strips the way we've achieved the strips here. So let's serve it on our bowl, and then we get onto our pasta and our vegetable. Just get one of my serving spoons. The mushrooms are also still whole, and that is exactly what we wanted. We didn't want our mushrooms, our mushrooms like, how can I say it, like in pieces, in too much pieces. We wanted them really crunchy, and I'm sure we've achieved that. I'm going to cover that. There is our chicken so far. Let that steam go away. There you go. That's our chicken so far. As you can, I'm sure you're able to see some of the strips of the courgettes, which is really, really great. You won't be able to see some strips of mushrooms because they almost have the same color as the chicken. Few more minutes and our vegetables are going to be ready. Our pasta is actually ready, so I am going to move our pasta right in the middle. Okay, there we go. That's our pasta. The lighting is not that good, but don't worry about it. I'm going to move it really close. There you go. Button. So all we have is our vegetable. I'm just preparing the side here so that I can be able to drain off our vegetable, because we need to drain off the water off our vegetable. Sprinkle a little bit of the chili oil and just go straight ahead and put it into the serving bowl. Okay, so okay, there we go. That is done, ready on the other side. So gonna turn off that, because remember we were just steaming our vegetables. We didn't want them well done. We were just steaming them. So you need about 5 to 10 minutes or even less than that to steam your vegetable, because most of these vegetables you want them really, really crunchy. Okay, so that's our vegetable done. Hope you're able to see that. And I am going to go ahead and add the garlic, the chili infused oil. Give it a bit of a mix. And just serve it straight up. And this is how it looks like. I hope you're able to see. Yep. So there we go. Our dinner is ready. So simple. Just chicken, vegetables, and pasta. Very, very quick to be done during the week. It should take less than an hour to do. It's normally the preparation that normally takes long. So this, you should be able to achieve it again in an hour. Maybe preparation half an hour and then just an hour for the whole cooking, because that takes about 10-15 minutes in the oven. But when you're boiling it, it takes about 20 minutes to boil it. And you can do your vegetable at the same time as you've just seen what we've done. And then your chicken takes maximum half an hour as well to prepare and to cook it. So now I'm going to go around with our camera the way we normally do it, so that you're able to see what we've actually prepared today. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and take our pictures as the way we normally do, so that we can upload them onto the page. And I put a little bit of a note there for the people who are not able to actually get to the live video. They can be able to see the pictures, and then they can be really interested on actually watching the whole video of how to prepare it. So I hope you're ready now, because we're going to turn the camera around so that you can be able to see our meal. Okay, there we go. So there is our chicken. If I come a little bit closer, you will be able to see our mushrooms at the farthest end. You can see our courgettes and our strips of chicken. And then you can see our tomatoes that we've used, both the cherry tomatoes. And we've used different kinds of we've used paprika, black pepper, and the pesto. Okay, and that is our mixed vegetable, as you can see there. And that we've just steamed it up, and then we've used chili infused oil on it. And then last but not least, there we go, that's our pasta. We've actually used slices of cheese that we normally use on sandwiches, and then we've just put some butter on in the oven for 10-15 minutes, and it is all done. I'll go around again and show you what we've achieved. There's our mixed vegetable, and there's our chicken. Yeah, so now I'm going to go straight ahead and serve it so that you can see our serving for today. Go ahead and serve it so that you can see the serving of today before we actually end our video. To me, I think we've really achieved a lot in a very short time, and that is really good. So I am going to go ahead and serve our pasta first. Okay, as you can see, you can still see our cheese. You can see how cheesy the pasta is. I hope you're able to see that, because that's what we really wanted to achieve, the cheese on the pasta. That's what we really wanted, and that's what we've achieved. So that's our pasta. And then just gonna move that because that is really hot. I'm going to serve our chicken. And then I'm going to serve our vegetable. Okay. Then I'm going to turn again the camera around for you to see the serving before we end our video for today. Okay. Looks really yummy, which is really great. Okay, there we go. So we've actually had our servings, as you can see. Our pasta, just moving a little bit closer. There is our pasta, really cheesy, the way we really want it.